Are you ready to listen to a podcast?
Here comes the Playhouse Podcast, thanks to Bradshaw and Bryan Law Offices.
Find, subscribe, and listen.
Did you miss a show? Download the podcast now.
Hey, it's Alayna J. After having a couple drinks, where's the weirdest place that you've ever fallen asleep? It's another Dad Joke Tuesday in the Playhouse. So Kat, JJ, myself, and listeners battle it out. Who had the best dad joke? And the other day, JJ was shocked when his 12-year-old son came to him and said he wanted to sell what on the school's black market? All of this plus so much more is coming up in the Playhouse podcast, which starts now.
And Alayna, you start. Where's the weirdest place you ever fell asleep?
Definitely the bathroom here at work. So my fiance and I, we were about a month into dating and we went downtown. We drank a little too much and we decided it would be safer for us just to kind of, crash here on the couch for a couple hours and then, sober up, drive home.
Every single radio person, mostly guys, have tried this where they're near a bar near the radio station and they go, hey, I can play any song you want if you want to go back to the radio station. And apparently you did this, and then you guys both fell asleep right next to the toilets on the cold tile floor in the bathroom.
We've all been there.
We hear from our promotions team where they go out and hang the banners and the balloons for our gigs. We hear from them. Well, it's Saturday morning. We almost had to call the cops. Well, why? Well, we found Alayna and her girlfriend on the bathroom floor.
I had a gig with her the next day, and she was telling me all about it. She's like, I couldn't wake them up. I thought they were dead. I had to call in someone to help me, some reinforcements. So I'm proud of you. That's a good story.
Kat, weirdest place you ever fell asleep?
So I know that a lot of people look at me like this beautiful, you got it all going for you, girl. You're with it and together. But 2 weekends ago was pretty bad. And you know what kicks it up a notch? A hot tub. A hot tub does something to you after you've had a case of Vizzies.
Yeah.
And you're just like, life is great until you get out. And then you're not in the hot tub anymore. And then the whole room is spinning. And then you throw up. And sometimes you pee when you throw up. And then you pass out and you come through and you're still in your pee pants.
Today.
My pee pants all night.
That was you?
I wish I was lying. I wasn't going to tell that story to ruin the illusion, but it was a bad weekend. I'm good for the year.
There's probably a good 10% of guys that think you're more attractive now after you tell that story.
Then those are my guys.
Mike, what's good, man? How you feeling?
Not too bad.
Good. Tell me about the job you used to have that you fell asleep at.
Oh, no.
So we had an all-nighter. Two buddies decided they were going to drop me off at work because I had to be there. I couldn't function, and I told the gals up front that I was going to rearrange some beds. I slipped in between two king-size pillow top mattresses, and I passed out there for 3 hours.
Oh, my God.
Standing upright.
The weight of the top mattress didn't do anything, or you were in a
He
crack?
was in that kind of zone.
They were all upright, standing in rows. And
you slept upright like Dracula?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
3 hours.
Wow.
Passed out cold on nice, cold plastic beds.
And you woke up a new man, though, didn't you?
Oh, I woke up feeling like the champ.
Yeah. And the best part is that you got paid to do this.
And I walked outside, and my two buddies were passed out cold in the car. They didn't even drink.
And so you got...
They were just waiting. They were waiting for me to come out because I was going to go in and be like, yeah, I'm not feeling well. I think I got the flu. I need to go home.
Oh, the whiskey flu.
The 3-2 flu.
Yeah.
What a boy. A fun story.
So, yeah, that was my story.
I appreciate it. Thanks for being on the show. I forgot to tell you guys about this, but I worked at a certain large lumber chain. Home, what do you want to call it? Like home...
Schmeepo?
No. Yeah, anyway. But they have outdoor lumber at this chain where it's like a giant lumber yard outside. And I worked there my junior year of college during the summer. And we built a fort in where all the green lumber was, and with just scraps. And people not me would go up there and smoke joints.
Sure.
And then have somebody else cover for them for an hour. And the one time, there was a drive-through big shed, and on the sides they would stack insulation bales. And one time I climbed onto the top of it like it was a 20-foot bed.
Wouldn't that be itchy?
No, because they're all wrapped up in plastic.
Okay.
And fell asleep up there for a good 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then you wake up there, and you're like, oh crap, somebody needs a piece of wood cut. So you have to climb down from the rafters. And then, hey, what can I do for you? And they're like, were you up there? I'm like, yeah, just siesta, man. Just taking a brief snooze.
Good for you.
So what do you got for us? What was the weirdest place you ever just kind of, just found yourself?
I love Kim. She says, I passed out in the crack between a wall and a recliner because I couldn't find a blanket. No one could find me in the morning. Alcohol may or may not have been involved.
What do you got for us? All right, 251-1047. Mark, tell us about it, please.
I fell asleep I got drunk and the bar closed and I walked to the trailer court and went in the wrong damn trailer house.
Why do I feel like this has happened to you before?
Several times.
I went in and I made myself a sandwich and I ate a sandwich and I laid down on the couch. I woke up in the morning, I heard voices, I looked around, I was in the wrong damn trailer. I snuck over, got my shoes, and ran like a madman.
Did they see you, or did you hear them before they saw you?
I just heard their voices, and they didn't come out yet.
Mike, at one point, did you ever think it was odd that you knew where the bread and the meat and everything was in somebody else's house?
Yeah. Put my shoes up real neat.
You're living your best life right now, aren't you, sir?
Want to go to yes, I am.
We thought we'd lighten the mood a little bit with a Dad Joke Tuesday in the Playhouse. Have you got a horrible dad joke? I would love to hear it.
I love Liz's. What do you call a dog that does magic? A labracadabrador.
That was good.
Pretty funny. I know you make fun of me for my lady beard back in the day. I used to hate facial hair, but then it grew on me. So.
That's good.
That is good.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Ladies, if you can't appreciate your fruit jokes, well, you need to let that man go. Mango.
That's a good one.
Alayna, what do you got?
Well, did you guys hear about the cheese factory that exploded in France?
Oh, my God.
Debris is everywhere.
That's pretty good.
Brie cheese. That's a good one.
Cheese jokes really rule.
You know, we have a lot of spare time on our hands with quarantine. But what does Rockin' Robin do when she's bored? Tweet. Tweedledee.
Yep.
I know. He's trying not to laugh because it's his favorite song.
It was a stupid one.
Sings it everywhere he goes.
Bird jokes are stupid. I like telling jokes about gravity. Yeah. People fall for them all the time.
Monday was tough for me yesterday. Like, Sundays are always a little sad, but the day before is a Saturday. Laugh!
Stop
Don't
laughing,
hide
Alayna.
your laughter.
Stop laughing.
It's a bad laugh.
Yeah.
It's not a good laugh.
Todd, give me a great dad joke, please.
So we had to replace the time clock at work.
Yeah?
Sure.
At the other day, it was punching everybody out.
Oh, assault. That's a good dad
I can't
joke.
even give you the time to justify that horrible dad joke, Todd. Michael, give me a better one. You got a dad joke for a Dad Joke Tuesday here?
I sure do.
Yep.
It's about the guy that lost his left limbs. After that, he was all right now.
That's a good one.
Well done. I appreciate that. It's a Dad Joke Tuesday as we say good morning to Aaron. What's going on? You got a good one for us?
I don't know if it's that good, but how come Tyrannosaurus Rexes are horrible at arm wrestling?
I don't know. Why?
Because they're dead.
That's actually pretty funny.
Well played. I appreciate that. Last but not least, Vanessa, represent the ladies here. Why is today a great Dad Joke Tuesday? What do you got for us?
What do you call a cow with no legs?
Ground beef. Good work.
Vanessa.
Classic dad joke.
Can't have that one on the radio anymore.
What does a penguin build his house? Use to build his house.
I don't know. How do you screw up a joke?
It glues it together. Okay. Dad jokes. They're tough.
The hard part is you gotta get up early after a great night's sleep to prepare a dad joke for the Playhouse. For me, last night, I dreamt I was a muffler.
Well, speaking of early,
I woke up exhausted.
If the early bird gets the worm, I'll sleep until there's pancakes. All right.
Is it
We're done.
Shanna? Give me a great dad joke to cap this off because this has gone horribly bad.
Did you hear about the fire at the circus?
No.
It was intense.
There it is.
Today I tried catching a layer of fog in my hands. Missed.
Joke. You need to let them go. Weird news.
All right, with weird news comes weird products. I'm sure you've heard this commercial already. It's Travis Scott.
Oh, yeah, and my Sprite.
Gotta go.
Can you please go back to the Sprite part?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and my Sprite.
It's lit.
I can't. Listen, I love a good cold Sprite just as much as the next guy. But come on, McDonald's.
I don't know. They have found somebody to sell a boatload of product.
They got a new marketing director, and they said we're going to use celebrities now. That's what happened. They haven't done this in like 30 years.
Travis Scott, they said he has such a cultural impact, and people do look. I mean, he is one of the highest paid tour musicians out there. Like, his tour made so much money, but McDonald's selling a 3-foot long chicken nugget body pillow, and it's all part of the collaboration with rapper Travis Scott.
What the hell is going on?
But sold out, ships 9 to 12 weeks out, so just in time for the lucrative gift giving season. You won't have it, so you could just say, here's an IOU for your Travis Scott McNugget pillow.
And remember, next time you're walking down the soda aisle,
yeah,
and you're like, ooh, Sprite.
Yeah. That's lit.
It's lit.
This is your brain. This is drugs.
Drugs? No, I don't take drugs.
Drugs make me sick. They're bad for your body.
Drugs, weed, grass, toot, smack, quackers.
Stop with those drugs. They're making your mind into mush. You hear me?
I think we try to say it every day that meth is really bad for you. And this guy in Indiana just proving us correct. Once again, he thought that people were trying to break into his home. He started firing shots. He grabbed a sword off the wall. That's some decor right there. That's some rapper Jerry decor, where you have samurai swords on the wall. But he started shooting people that were not there, imaginary people that were attacking him. Police finally took him down. He's okay, but he was taken to the hospital, later released. But that's what meth will do to you.
It's a hell of a drug.
The more
Jokes.
you know. And that is
you need to let
what's
them
weird.
go. Michael, how are you?
Hi, I'm good.
We were talking about paranoias. Kat's mother-in-law is always paranoid about traffic. Kat's always paranoid about...
not having gas
there
in
it
my
is.
car.
Alayna, biggest paranoia?
Not waking up for work.
Mine is leaving a kid at practice for hours so that they're sitting on top of their baseball bag, twiddling their thumbs. I mean, that's the great thing about your kid having a cell phone now is they can call you and like, hey, Dad, are you on your way? Yes, I was. I was just leaving right now.
I drove by. I didn't see you.
What, did you
so
get done early? I got all the excuses already made up. What's your biggest paranoia in life right now, Michael?
That I'm going to forget to take a shower and I'm going to smell all day at work, like my piss. Like, it scares the crap out of me. I used to weigh 400 pounds, and I lost 2 people. And to this day, I take, like, 3 showers. I always have a spare deodorant.
Yeah.
Like, it's the worst. It's the worst. Like, I always think, oh, what if I smell, you know?
Well, there's a lot of people that walk out there that smell, and you just deal with it.
You know what you need is you need to have a little more faith in your deodorant. I mean, I understand that you're preparing, but what kind of deodorant do you use? Because I use Degree, and it turns up the heat when I need it the most.
I use the spray, Old Spice antiperspirant, or I'll use the Degree spray antiperspirant.
Yeah.
But I also have, like, an Old Spice, you know, the blue one, just the regular deodorant without antiperspirant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
you're
I
doubling
tried
up.
spray for a while, and I lost friends. So I would say just stick with the stick is probably the best route to go because it's skin on stick.
Kat's easily the most musky person I know, so I would take her advice.
Please don't spread that rumor. That's terrible.
Thanks, Michael. Have a great day, man.
Yeah, you do.
By the,
I think he's still drunk because that's not what he told us before we went on.
This is a different Michael.
Oh,
the other guy. The other Michael was the one that, if you'd heard earlier in the show, that was always paranoid about when he got drunk and then went into the wrong trailer park.
Got it.
And then I said, "What are you paranoid about?" And he's like, "Going back into that wrong trailer park again."
Okay.
And I just said, "All right, this was smelly Michael, who's paranoid to not smell again because he lost a whole bunch of weight,
over 400 pounds,
and they lost 2 people." He said,
"Wow, good for him."
Like, I'm guessing he'd lost the body weight. He didn't actually just, like, lose 2 people. Like, they're just wandering around in the woods somewhere.
Yeah, good assumption.
Maybe he took his deodorant. Like, this thing is unraveling quick. Elena's got the question of the day today.
Do you prefer to date somebody that is older or younger? So a new survey found that about 80% of men are fine with dating somebody that's older than them.
Fine with it?
Yeah, they're fine with it.
That's
but
nice.
What's interesting, though, is women, only half don't mind dating younger. So it kind of seems like women, prefer to date older. So what do you prefer to date?
So I've gotten with some younger guys. I just never dated them, But I've always dated
wrecked them?
Older.
Kat walks in, she goes, I wrecked him.
Had my way with them. Showed them the ways of the older chicks.
In the door.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, if my wife left, I would probably date somebody who was older right now because I'd want to get into their retirement a little bit earlier.
Can you imagine having to keep up with a 20-something?
No.
Oh, my God, you would just die. You're like, my elbow, my arm hurts again. I can't go out.
I'd put up a good fight for about the first 2 or 3 months, but then they'd start seeing through it.
Oh, Alayna, he'd wear those jeans with the gems on the back.
Oh, my gosh. No.
Yes, Ed Hardy T-shirts.
I'd pull out the old Guess jeans and the Z Cavaricis.
Yeah, he'd grow this little patch out on his front forehead. To gel it back.
Slick it over.
Ew.
Alayna, well, if you were to end your relationship today, would you date younger or older?
Probably younger. I usually go for like a couple of years younger.
All right.
Why?
Kat, would you date younger or older? Your husband's older than you are?
Yeah.
Right now in your life, though?
6 years older. I would date maybe my age or older. I could never date younger, I don't think. I don't think they're...
Tell her there's something about dating older where they're going to get into that retirement fund a little bit sooner.
Yeah.
Your life gets a whole lot easier.
You know what's weird is a girl I graduated high school with, her name is Lindsay, and she just moved to Arizona with her husband.
Sugar
who
daddy.
Just retired.
Yes.
But it's not sugar daddy. She's always been like an old soul, never wanted kids. Now she's a grandma. How old am I? 35. She's a grandmother.
She's a grandmother at 35.
34 years old. Woo! Yes. And she says that online. She's like, oh, hanging with the grandbabies. And I'm just like, I can't follow. That is weird. But
some people want to be a hot grandma.
She's a young, spicy, Harley driving grandma.
Now, with all this said, the question I'm assuming is, would you prefer to date younger or older?
Yeah.
I will tell you guys, if you tell me where your angle is right now, are you dating younger or older, and what's your preference? If you share that thought with me, I will tell you about the older man that Kat doesn't want to talk about that she dated.
Wow.
Who was in the national headlines for doing a very, very bad thing. So, Kat doesn't want to talk about it, but at one time, she was the sugar baby of a man 20 years to her senior.
I was hardly a sugar baby. He worked in radio, didn't have any money.
Who recently, you may recognize him from the Taylor Swift trial. He was the guy that allegedly grabbed her booty, and then she ended up suing him.
For $1.
Well, eventually for $1, but...
He paid her with a Sacagawea coin.
It was a mess, but he was all over the headlines. It got basically run out of the business because he allegedly grabbed her tushy during a photo op session.
Okay. Yeah, because there's no more scum in this business. He's the only one. I
didn't say that.
But, yeah. I'll reserve my opinion about that whole thing. But, yeah, that was about 20 years. 20 years different.
Alayna, you saw the pictures, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
And that's all right. That's all right. I know him, and I know that that's not his character, but I'm not going to say she lied. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on to Ashley's text.
Can we agree that Taylor Swift has a nice booty, though?
She does have a nice booty. Yeah. She says, I like to date older in real life. I like to date younger in my head. The younger guys don't know we're dating, but I know we're dating.
All right.
Ashley, that made us laugh so hard.
Ashley, just the fact that you could spell this out consciously means you have some issues that I think you need to work out. When you have a child, there's a lot of things that you hope for. You hope that they'll be healthy, independent, a good friend, respectful, ambitious, curious.
Successful.
Yeah, all these things. And our third child, Nolan, has been most of these things. And then he looked at me right before going to his first day of school and said, Dad, I'd like you to buy me a pallet of Takis.
Back on this kick, huh?
And I said, no. He said, why not? I said, you are not going to be your school's black market Taki salesman. He did the math, and he thinks he can make upward of $500 a pallet.
Wow.
If he bought the Takis, and he's willing to pay for a pallet of Takis out of his savings and then sell them at school.
Have him put together a business plan for you. You could really turn this
He already
into...
has it. It's him and his friend Charlie. They want to do this because they have differing days that they're at school.
Sure.
And so they think they can full-time sell Takis out of their locker and get rich at 12 years old.
Kids will pay for these.
Now,
I don't see the appeal.
This is the same kid when he was a kindergartner that we found out when we went for like the mid-year conferences. His teacher thought that we knew about the underground arm wrestling ring that he had started in the cafeteria before school. And when we went to his backpack in his locker, we found like 40 crumpled up $1 bills. What he had done is worked out a deal with the rest of the school that if he beat them at arm wrestling, all the way up to the 5th graders, that they owed him $1, but if they could beat him, well, then that was just the way it was.
Suckers.
So it was put $1 down. If I beat you, I take your $1. If you win, you get to take your $1 back. He had made $40 in a couple of months arm wrestling older kids. And even my daughter was like, oh, I thought you guys knew about Nolan's arm wrestling ring. It was like an underground fight club for kindergartners. What
a good sister not to narc on her brother.
I'm sure she was getting part of the money.
He never ran into an O'Doyle. He never had all that money.
So, but he just had to give it back, right? He never lost money doing it. He gave $40. He was like 6. I'm like, wow. That was really proud. So what was the black market item in your school? If you look back to high school, Kat, what were people selling out the back door?
We had one girl, Alexis, and her mom was one of the first moms to get a Costco membership. And so she would go and get Starbucks double shots, the tiny cans that gave you that jolt you needed. And she had an extra backpack. So she had her normal double strap backpack. And then she had another backpack that she claimed was for like after school athletics gear. And it had an insulated inside. So it was like a cooler backpack. And she would keep all of the Starbucks double shots. You'd go up to her and you'd open it a little bit and you'd put in the front pocket the cash. You'd reach and get your double shot. So she never had
to touch it?
Nah. She'd walk down. I mean, the hallways at my high school were packed. There's no way a teacher would get hip to what was going on.
It's like having a drug monkey.
So, I mean, coffee was our drug back then. And then we had the Decamart that started selling coffee, but the teachers made us sell decaf.
The more I learn about how rich you are or were growing up, the more I hate you a little bit more. Alayna, what
was because we had coffee?
You know what kids sold out our back door? Cigarettes that they stole from their parents. They would sell for $1 a piece.
Them Reds.
Yeah, it was the Marlboro Unfiltereds or
Ouch.
And then I remember the one time I tried it. I got busted immediately. I stole a pack of my dad's Cool. It was Kool.
Yeah.
That was the type of cigarettes he smoked. And I stole a pack of those and I tried to sell them out the back door. And the first kid that tried to buy it was one of the teacher's kids.
Yeah.
Everybody, JJ selling cigarettes over here. That's exactly how that went down. Alayna, what were they selling?
Silly bands.
Yeah.
So they were basically, just little bracelets, but when you would take them off, they would be different shapes. There were like Disney ones or whatnot. But in our school, the colors are what mattered. So the colors meant certain things. Like if you had the black one on, that meant you went all the way.
Oh,
and if you had red ones on, that meant that's how many kisses you got.
So Kat would have had like black ones all the way up her forearm.
Yeah.
They would have been all the way to her elbow.
Yeah. So those were a hot penny. I think they were like $1 a piece. You could probably buy a pack for $1, but the black ones were super rare, and I don't know why, but everybody wanted the black ones.
So you could buy your way into like a social status by the silly band colors you
pretty
had.
much. Yeah,
we had this guy named Bobby, and he was like so cerebral and just very earthly and just thoughtful. But then he took a vow of silence for some. I don't know what it was. Took a vow of silence for 3 months, an entire semester, and he didn't talk to anybody. He'd do a lot of like mouthing. I'm like, why don't you just talk? When he got in his car, he was like blah 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 blah. But he would sell these toothbrush bracelets, and people would buy them. He would melt them in hot water and then mold them, and then you'd buy them. People walked out like this with the toothbrush bracelet. It was so weird.
This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard of.
Bobby Bean was his name.
He would melt a toothbrush, bend it around a pipe so it would fit around your.
I don't know if he was raising money for charity. I don't know what he took of silence for.
Was he a dentist kid, and where they send him all the toothbrush?
I don't know where he came up with them. I think people brought them their toothbrushes to him, even though you could melt them yourself at home. But it was like the Bobby touch. I don't know. It was really weird.
All right, you went to school back in the day. What was on the black market at your school? Brian, how are you, buddy?
Good, man. How you doing?
Great. Thanks for calling the show. We're talking about the black market items in your school? So my son wanted me to buy him like a pallet of hot Cheetos because he believes that the cafeteria runs out of them all the time, and he believes that he could sell these at a high premium. He's thinking a pallet is going to net him about $500, and I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I feel blessed that we got our first child through school, and if I take the third one and ramp him up to a career of crime, I don't know if I'm going to get the retirement I want. So think back in the day, what did people used to sling out the back door of your school?
And the biggest thing was probably Pogs.
Oh.
Yeah.
And you know, I was kind of a watcher, you know, but I'd see these guys, the bigger the slammer, the better. You know, they'd flip the stack, and they must have practiced it a million times, and there go your 100 Pogs, you know.
You're saying you had a little bit of a life before people started pogging.
Yeah, class of 2000, so, you know, in that area. And then the butterfly yo-yo. It had to be a butterfly, but it had to have the picture of the butterfly on it.
Yeah.
And before that became illegal at the school, but it was fun.
I remember the yo. I was really good with the yo-yo for a while, but then when everybody got them, what would happen is a kid would be walking in front of you down the hall, and one of the things was to do is to flip it out to see how close you could hit him in the back of the head.
That's
but of
awful.
course, people would start doing that when they were face to face. They'd be face to face, and they'd start flipping yo-yos, and it just takes one kid to get a tooth knocked out. Now everybody can't use the yo-yo anymore. So
there was this guy named Eric in my high school that carried around an Altoid box, you know, the metal one, and he'd have the pouches, the chew pouches. And so these random jocks would be like, hey, you got an Altoid for me? So teachers wouldn't even have any idea. And then I'm like, oh, I want an Altoid. And so he would open it up, and I'm like, oh, no, I don't want you.
Hey, Brian, thanks for calling. I went to such a redneck school that kids just chewed.
At school?
At school.
Oh, my God.
All the time. There was kids chewing all the time. And it was so okay. The only things that teachers cared about is if they knew you were an athlete.
Yeah.
They knew you were going to get busted and get kicked out. But teachers would give us chew all the time in my school.
People would have their like spit cups with them and stuff. Gross.
They would use a Mountain Dew bottle and spit in it all the time. All the time.
That's nuts.
It wasn't even a thing. How's Allison doing?
Pretty good.
What would be the black market item at your school back in the day?
So it's not back in the day. I'm a lunch lady at a school south of you guys.
Okay.
And when I taught at church last school year, one of my students who was a junior at the time told me she would buy ding-dongs and cupcakes and Mountain Dew and sell them out of her locker to make
snacks.
Money.
Okay. And don't you guys have an
Anything
a la
not
carte?
whole
Or
grain.
what made them so desirable? They were just cheaper than what you guys would charge at school?
Well, so in school you have to serve a 51% whole grain item.
Sure.
Anything she served was all sugar.
Yeah.
Nothing Mountain Dew, nothing.
She was the anti-Michelle Obama.
Totally.
Oh
In fact, you should hear the conversations my kids have about Michelle Obama in the school. It's hysterical.
And do you think she was making a lot of money doing this?
Oh, yeah. She would come to school, and then she'd come to church on Wednesdays and be like, yeah, I made $100 this week.
Wow.
And it was talking to you about it was a slight confessional, and she didn't feel bad about it then.
You know what? Whatever it takes to get my kids to actually have food in school and eat, I'm fine with.
Yeah.
There you go.
I would much rather see my kids have food and be full than sit here and look at me and, like, I serve lunch now due to COVID, and I watch trays go in the garbage with tons of food on it that kids don't even touch.
Yeah.
Why aren't they eating that? Because they don't like it or they're used to something different. My kid, I told him, I said, listen, if you're coming home hungry, that's because you didn't eat all your food, dummy. Eat it all.
Well, but they're getting trays with, do you know what a jicama stick is?
Yes, I love jicama, but I'm 35.
Oh, man, no, I don't like jicama. I tried it, and I looked at my kids, and my kids are like, what is this nasty thing? I'm like, it's a potato apple.
Yeah.
And ranch does not fix it.
That is a great way to describe it, a potato apple.
All right. Well,
but it's veggies. You know, kids don't want to eat veggies in school. They want meat and potato, and they want to get out and go.
Yeah.
I got you. All right. So you're fully justifying somebody doing a ding-dong black market?
I am perfectly fine with it.
All right. Thanks, Allison.
And we sell a la carte at our school, so, you know, whatever it takes to get kids actually having some food.
Do they run out of the hot Cheetos and the Takis right away, though, like my kid's school?
hot Cheetos, more the Doritos and the sweet chili.
Okay, I got you. All right. God, I'm so hungry right now. I wish you wouldn't have called for some reason. Like, I feel like I just want to go to our little snack bar here at work and
feel
binge.
bad. My kids are eating Lunchables today, so.
Oh, they're eating the Hiccup-Ups too?
No.
Right.
Carrots and Lunchables.
Cigarettes and Lunchables? All right, you're doing it the right way.
JJ's got stuff in his ear. I don't know why I can't hear you.
Thanks, Allison.
Yep, bye.
We had, our a la carte was all trash. That is so weird to hear that there were ding-dongs, there were ho-hos, everything.
And then Kat started showing up more often, and there were ho-hos.
Okay.
Hey, Tara, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. This is only a mild flashback, but what was the black market item?
Fidget spinners.
Yes.
Yeah. So my son found out that the little dinky mall near our town had them for like $5, and they had color ones and they had the patriotic ones, which were huge with him, and he would sell them for like $15.
He was raking
and
it
he
in.
was in 5th grade.
My mom's a
Yeah,
teacher.
so then-
She's a 6th grade teacher, and I guess they were like, whatever makes them focus. I'm like, how is that even helping any situation? They would just sit there and spin.
Yeah, but then I went like on a 5th grade class trip, and I heard some of the other moms talking, oh my God, Avery needed $15 for one of these fidget spinners he's buying from, some kid. And I'm like, oh my God.
That's my kid.
Oh, please don't realize that it's my kid.
I don't know.
My sweet little boy.
Hey, college
But
isn't
yeah,
cheap, man. Get them to start early, squirreling that away.
Yeah, right.
I see it as entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
Well done. You're doing it right, Mom. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Podcast. Download the podcast.
The Playhouse Podcast is made possible thanks to Bradshaw and Bryant Law Offices. Catch the live show weekdays from 5:30 to 9 on 104.7 KCLD. Now, share this with a friend. Immediately.
And hey, we have more podcast episodes available, so go check them out right now. Do it. Come on, do it. Seriously, do it.